Before beginning, like this content, consider supporting the channel. Make sure you're sub, but also check out the links in the description. We have a few there, including this, The Case of the Littlest Umbrella. This is our initial foray into comic books, and it's also our message out there to gatekeepers that try to gatekeep culture. We don't have to lockstep to anyone. If you want to hear more about that, well, check out the end of the video. The media and misinformation seem to go hand in hand these days, and along with it, current bouts of mass hysteria. But what happens when the media, they're not just getting it wrong, but they're intentionally getting it wrong? What if they're going out and going beyond trying to damage, say, a product, and they're going out and putting out information or disinformation that could harm somebody? What then? So hey there. So today I want to return to that wonderful world of entertainment to talk about something that's kind of perplexing, and that is the reaction to the Joker. I mean, when I look at this, I understand why this is happening. You know, we have a movie on one side that has been widely received. We're talking about showered with acclaim because it's supposed to be out there. It's supposed to be dark character study, and it approaches this subject in a new and different way. On the other hand, it's not socially aware enough. And well, if you talk about social awareness in quote-unquote current year, you know what that means. In fact, today, we've actually seen the director coming out saying, hey, this is the reason that I left comedy, because we have woke culture. We have SJW culture out there, and that's been amazing. But if you go back and you look at some of the stuff they've thrown out there, you can see why he says that. So you have an article here by Gizmodo saying U.S. military issues warnings to troops about not violence, but incel violence at Joker screenings. That sounds weird, doesn't it? So let's read the way that this loops in. So the U.S. military has warned service members about the potential for mass shooters at screenings of Warner Brothers film Joker, which has sparked wide concern from, amongst others, the families of those killed during the 2012 mass shooting in Colorado. The U.S. Army confirmed on Tuesday that the warning was widely distributed after social media posts related to extremists classified as quote-unquote incels were uncovered by intelligence officials at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So incels, let's check that out. Let's see if there are incels in here. Memorandum. And you notice this is the thing. The Fort Sill CID office received an intelligence bulletin regarding a credible possible potential mass shooting to occur at an unknown movie theater during the release of the new Joker movie scheduled on. The intelligence bulletin was published by Travis County, Texas Sheriff's Office, and working with local FBI field office. They have discovered disturbing and very specific chatter in the dark web relating to targeting of unknown movie theater during the Joker release. This notice is to have the widest dissemination to the FSOK community as a potential threat within the AOR. Commanders need to be aware of this threat for soldiers and family safety and to increase situational awareness should they choose to attend the release of this movie at a local theater. The Fort Sill CID office will maintain visibility on this intelligence and update the FSOK community as new information becomes available. So point of contact information there and everything. Now looking at this, you don't see one of those words, do you? You know, the word classified as, you don't see that come up anywhere, but it's in the headline. It's in this. They have the U.S. military not only making statements, but they have them making specific statements, aiming at specific folks out there. And then they even break it down. Now, riddle me this. Why would they do that? Well, if you look at this article and you look at exactly why they would do it, you can see the benefit here. Because again, we're talking about Gizmodo. Gizmodo, if you look at normal circulation, But if you're looking at this, you see 943.6K. You're talking about that much new traffic. So you have this, you have it going out, and the message that it's sending. Number one, it's one that could scare people into not going to see something. But number two, it might actually cause someone to do this. You know, go out, plant the idea out there, because you know, that seems like a good idea. Now, they even go further with this, too. They go in and they start talking about what the term is, who these folks could be, and so on. And when they look at this, I mean, you see some absolutely insane stuff that's pointed out in it. What's crazy about this, too, is they link to this article here, The Rage of, and it tells you all about who these people are, all about what these people are supposed to be, and how this horror here, it's right in your own backyard. It sounds like hunting down communists, in the past, doesn't it? It's kind of amazing to see. And this, of course, has sparked all types of articles as we've moved forward. I mean, for today, you see this. Select Joker screenings to be policed with NYPD undercover tactics for opening weekend. You have IGN throwing this out here. They're reporting that Deadline reported, so we go over and check out Deadline. Joker threats concerns have NYPD taking undercover precautions for opening weekend. And you look at this. Earlier this week, the NYPD's Chief of Patrol, Rodney Harrison, told officers that the department plans to visibly station cops at theaters showing the Joaquin Phoenix starring film. Now, Deadline has learned that a significant undercover detachment will also be deployed to make sure nothing untoward occurs inside cinemas in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, and Staten Island. Now, think about that. Think about the area that you're talking about, too. We're talking about areas where you're not supposed to be able to do this stuff anyhow, because those areas, they have been purged clean of not only the filthy thoughts because of, certain people out there that vote a certain way, but also of the elements that are supposed to allow you to do this too. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want my theaters to be safe as well, but think about what they're talking about here. They're saying that this movie is on that level that it could inspire wackos to go out and do that. Meanwhile, we saw something without much to do. We saw a movie get canceled right after a shooting that was about people going out and hunting down specific types of voters. Now, in that, those voters would have had a little red hat on, and I wonder how exactly that would have been taken. I wonder if we would have gotten more police and more precaution for that. But continuing on, this is a 360-degree policing approach to ensure safety for the ticket buyers in their seats as well as on the streets. A law enforcement official said of the strategy to have plainclothes police in a number of theaters in America's largest city, starting with October 3rd previews and throughout the expected heavily attended weekend. If something happens inside one of the screenings, we intend to be able to pacify the situation quickly and conclusively. Now, when you're talking about a situation like this, too, how long do they think that plays out? I mean, we've seen some responses to other forms of violence. We've seen responses within 5 minutes, and you know what? It didn't help. I mean, that's the sad reality of this, too, that if we have a problem here, we're talking about a larger systemic problem, and this, again, maybe, just maybe it relates back to, I don't know, the people causing this hysteria in the first place. There are a lot of articles that go out and they push this idea too. I mean, they push the idea that there's going to be some crazies out there that might actually open fire. I mean, look how much of an article they get out of this. And of course, as I said, they're going to continue pushing and illustrating this because, as you note that, especially if you can add in words like military, words like incel, words like, the New York Police Department or NYPD, yeah, you're going to get hits off of that. You're going to get a lot. And if you look at top stories too, if you look up, incels and jokers, yeah, you get a lot of that, period. But you don't just get that. You get all kinds of other craziness. I mean, look at this stuff. Like the Daily Beast here 2 weeks ago. Forget Joker. Here's the most terrifying incel horror film, trying to go and to capitalize off of not only this movie and the hysteria, but spreading it out further. But anyhow, I thought this was worth talking about. Thought it was worth sharing with you because it just shows you, yet again, what type of people you're dealing with out there and how they will not only spread, again, misinformation, but they'll lie to you and they may even cause something horrible to transpire. When they do, too, they wouldn't be held accountable. No, they would be standing out there pointing their finger down saying, it's your fault for not listening to us. It's your fault indeed. But let me know what you think here. So as stated at the beginning of the video, like this kind of content, consider supporting the channel. There are a few ways to do so in the links, including PayPal, Patreon, and this, The Case of the Littlest Umbrella. This is an all-ages Lovecraftian tale, one story, plus there are 2 other stories in the main book, and we have a secondary book on another tier as well. This is in demand currently, meaning we're working on it, and when it's over, well, it's over. Leave me your comments on this stuff too. I mean, when you look at the media and you look at the way that they've been spinning things, yeah, it's quite insane. I mean, seeing this reaction and where it can lead to, it doesn't surprise me, but it does concern me. And I think it concerns everyone else out there. But I don't know. Leave me your comments on that. To end too, I want to thank you for showing up. A lot of people out there forget about who makes endeavors possible. You do. You make this stuff work. So, thank you. I appreciate you. And we'll be doing this again soon. Thanks.